All right, well, you're not hearing my voice for the past hours, it'll be fairly quick. A lot of things have changed in the past 10 years since we started RPG Limit Break, but one thing that hasn't really changed about me, at least, is that I don't really like to talk that much unless it's about Chrono Trigger or about another RPG speedrun that I love. So just want to do some shout outs to a lot of people that helped make this event possible. I maybe just introduce to, in addition to being a speedrunner, I'm also one of the co-founders of RPG Limit Break and wear a number of hats on staff right now, such as being the lead for the games committee, the business manager, and kind of the manager of the Twitch and YouTube channels year-round. I'd first like to thank Ray from NAMI and NAMI in general for just being such a great charity partner for our events, and I'm proud to see that number on the screen right now as far as how much money we're raising to support the cause of mental health. And then I'd like to thank kind of my fellow management staff members in Limit Break, Heroic Spirit Gamer, Ashen Prime, Bob the Ninja Goldfish, Ghost Kumo, and Wells. One staff member I want to give really, really big shout outs to is Cece, our venue coordinator. We had a lot, I mean, CC is our venue coordinator, and we've had a lot of challenges this year. Starting way before we actually got here too, because we moved our event from a different state to Denver, Colorado this year, which took a lot of coordination and research to look at venues in the area, along with coordinating moving our equipment around too. And then I don't really want to dwell on it too much too, but we have had a lot of challenges during the event this year with our venue as well. And CC has just been a monster at helping to deal with a lot of those and kind of set us on the right foot for the next year's RPG Limit Breaks. Let's give one more round of applause to CC. I guess shout outs to Amberly right here, who's our prize coordinator. Does an awesome job, but not only kind of setting up prizes and assigning them up, but also making them herself too, like the case for this here. In the recent years of Limit Break, I feel like this is the one where I've had to have the least amount of involvement with prizes, and I think that's due to what a bang-up job Amberly has been doing. So I'd like to thank just kind of the members of our tech staff in general. We've got Natara, Hoishin, Zoiteki, Rizliu, Miria, Kiara, Freddie, Amazing Toaster, and the Sid. Let's give a round of applause to our tech crew for all the amazing work they do. I'd like to thank our community department that all help with kind of other aspects of putting on this event that are kind of a little less technical. We've got Dowolf, Gar, Vanivan, Mizuki Bara, Alec K47, and DJ Tifa Hart. Round of applause for our community coordinators. I'd like to thank the members of our content team, which was kind of revamped a bit under the leadership of Ghoul02, and I am so proud of all the work that they've been doing to put on great content, not only at our event this year, but also year-round as part of our side quest content that we usually do like once or twice a month. And members of the team are Vanivan, Ghost Kumo, Ashen Prime, Tiny Tim 78, Natara, Kiara, Pidge01, Kios Little Monster, Zokubun, Moonblaze Wolf, CC, A Tea Tree, Selkooth Mind, and Bob the Ninja Goldfish. Round of applause for content team. I'd like to thank my fellow members of the games committee that not only helped kind of pick the games, then make the schedule, but also have daily meetings, sometimes twice a day during the event, sometimes at kind of inconvenient times for the people that are off-site to help make sure things are going well as far as managing our incentives and bid wars, and in some cases having to make changes to the schedule for various reasons, and that aside from myself, it's also Jair, High Spirits, and El Megas. Let's give them a round of applause. kind of a new thing we grew to our staff this year is we had a very big influx in our producer team, which took a ton of pressure off our staff members, going from having a producer be a kind of a staff-only role to having other people engage with that too. And I'd like to thank Alicel, Rizliu, Heroic Spirit Gamer, Stump, Amazing Toaster, The Sid, Moonblaze Wolf, Ashen Prime, DeWolf, Natara, Sanjan, Zoiteki, Freedom Pulse, and Miria. Let's give our producers a round of a hand. And kind of in a similar vein, I'd also like to thank our content producers that help with a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff for our content team segments. Let me say who they are first. That would be Zach the Robot, PX Micaiah, Bram Hall the Fifth, Silver Deeds, and a Tea Tree. Let's give them a round of applause. I'd like to thank our safety coordinators and volunteers like Gar, Quistacular, and Grimora. Help keep our event a safe and welcoming place for everybody. I'd like to thank our chat moderation leads for kind of also making our event a very friendly and welcoming place for people watching on Twitch and YouTube, and that would be Austin and Janot. I'd like to thank our partners that helped with various aspects of our event. We've got LLK, our artist, who deserves a lot of applause for all of the great things she's done. Yeah. I'd like to thank Oro, our graphic designer, Palmer, our console modder, Jay Hobbs, our website developer, the RPG Chick, our documentation expert. And then I'd also like to thank our merchandise partners, Tantra Merch, who did a great job this year. It was a pleasure to work with them for the first time. And then also Dragon Roast Coffee, too. Great to work with. And then I'd also like to thank Cool Maddie, Uranium Anchor, and other staff of Games Done Quick that helped out our event too. Like UA lent us a lot, who in addition to being a great Crystallis runner, is also the programmer for our donation tracker, and gave us a lot of technical support for that as we need it. So let's give all of them a round of applause. I would like to do one special shout out to a very generous individual that made a very generous donation to RPG Limit Break in order to help fund relocating our event and kind of getting situated in the Denver, Colorado area. And then this donor did ask to remain anonymous, but I do want to give them a big acknowledgement as part of this, as far as helping fund our event. All right, and then I guess my last thing, shout outs to all of our amazing volunteers too. Sadly, don't have time to name each and every single one of them, or else we'd be here very, very late. But yeah, thanks to all of our volunteers, whether you're here at our venue in Colorado or remotely. I mean, RPG Limit Break is a completely volunteer managed event, and proud of all of the great support we have. So I guess, yeah, I mean, those are my shout outs for who helped put the event on. I mean, it's very weird to think about this being the 10th anniversary of Limit Break, about just kind of a little group of people actually meeting up at a pho restaurant in Denver during Summer Games Done Quick event in 2014 and deciding to start a RPG-themed marathon, and that kind of little happy-go-lucky event is still going strong 10 years later, and that we've recovered from the pandemic and are ready to start growing again. And I mean, it just fills me with just such immense pride to just to see not only that donation total on the stream layout of all the money we've raised towards mental health, which is a cause very near and dear to my heart, always has been. But just also just walking around this venue and just seeing so many, seeing and hearing so many signs of people just having a great time. I mean, all of the countless hours that I and other staff put into it, just seeing how much this event means to other people and how much kind of it brightens their week, whether they're here or just watching the stream, just means the world to me. So thank you so much. All right, well, I think with that, I'm ready to get out of here. So who's up next?
All right, is it live? Okay, it is. All righty. RPG Limit Break! I don't think that was as loud as Bob can get, but I'll do my best.
You tried.
I tried.
I'll give you an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll take it. All right. I want to start by mentioning, so I think people at this point know who I am. I'm a Hero Spread Gamer. I'm one of the co-owners of this event, but I'm actually not a co-founder. So upon 10th anniversary, I just wanted to take a moment to say that, 11 years ago, I didn't even know what speedrunning was. And the very first event, I was not part of the founding of it. I wasn't here for the very first event. And I quickly became engrossed in the marathon, beginning with the very first event at the University of U, which is our second event that we ever had. And the fact that I'm here now in this position, I still don't understand entirely always. It's very interesting. But we have grown something very incredible. We put so much work into this. Many of us have put so much work into this. And I'm very thankful to be here representing this event on our 10th year anniversary. I just can't put it into words. Thank you to everybody here. Thank you to everybody that watched this event. Thank you to all of our watchers and our donors. Thank you to everyone that Adam's also already mentioned. And thank you for our new record post-COVID for NAMI. So I do have a list here. I'll try and go through it quickly. I want to reiterate how amazing and above and beyond CC was this week. Puck's already did it justice, but it cannot be understated the amount of things that happen here. I probably was upping CC personally 14 times a day going, hey, here's a new thing. Enjoy. It was a lot for all of us to deal with. I can't even imagine what it was for him to deal with. Just, CC, you're not here anymore. You left early, but thank you so much. My next above and beyond shout out is taking pictures of me currently, Ashen. Ashen equally went above and beyond this year in a different way. Originally, moving across state lines, it was quite a drive. We had planned movers. Movers were too expensive. And so Ashen said, screw it, and drove a truck of all of our equipment for 10 hours to our new venue. In addition to that, once we got here, we've had challenges. And to solve those challenges, Ashen has been working tirelessly almost the whole week, especially during setup, but the challenges have continued the entire time. This event, frankly, would not have happened. This stream would not have happened without Ashen. He just the champion of this stream this year. So thank you very much, Ashen. I am proud that we have a new home in Denver. I think the reception has been pretty well overall. Maybe Denver itself less than the venue, but don't worry about that. But I'm very glad to be here. I think we've safely found our new home for everyone, and I look forward to where we end up within Denver in the future. Equally, I want to give a lot of love to High Spirits. I know this is a big one for a lot of us. High Spirits, we all love you. We all want to see you be back, but we also want to see you be your best self when you are back. So please do what you need to do. This goes for Mizuki as well while I'm at it, because I know Mizuki had equally some health challenges, so they couldn't be here. Just to our staff that could not be here, we love all of you. We hope to see all of you in the future at some point. But special love for Mizuki and High Spirits. We have two new sponsors. Well, sponsors, merch partners, somewhere in between, that I worked with a fair amount this year, particularly Tantrum Merch. There was a lot of collaboration here. I want to give an extra shout out to LOK. She stepped up and helped out with a lot of designs, a lot more work than we usually asked of her, and she just championed it without any questions. But also Tantrum Merch has been an utterly, unbelievably incredible merch partner to work with. I cannot be more grateful. And I look forward to everything to come with that partnership and that collaboration. And I think it's going to be absolutely excellent moving forward. We already have so many ideas for even next year. Y'all aren't ready. We've already mentioned all of our staff, but I want to call out particularly new staff and new roles because it's probably not transparent or obvious for everybody. Ghost Kumo is now our community lead coordinator. Bob moved up to our community director. Rissel Yu is now also our on-site venue correspondent because he lives locally. We also have a whole bunch of new members in general between content team, content producers, and producers. We have Pidge, Kios, Zokubun, Moonblaze Wolf, a Tea Tree, Selcouth Mines, Act the Robot, PX, Bramhall the Fifth, Deeds, Stump, Sanjan, Freedom Pulse, and Seriously Surly. I cannot be more grateful that we are expanding the team and doing better and doing more work. But there are still improvements to come. Every time we expand and do more, it's like, oh, there's now a new overlap. There's now like a new gap or a new overlap. It's like, whoopsie. So we will always continue to figure it out. And I look forward to, in the future, adding even more staff. Please stay tuned. We have new roles in mind, expanding current roles, maybe even adding new roles. And I do want to call out as well that, yes, we are volunteer only. Even Adam and myself are volunteer only. Everyone here that puts in all this tireless work, we do it for free. And so I cannot thank everyone enough. I cannot thank our new staff to be enough. Thank all of you. And with that, I have a surprise. So, Poexel, we have been given a gift from our very first event. This was a prize that was given away at the very first event. The winner never knew what to do with it, and it's been sitting in their basement for 10 years. And they decided for our 10th year anniversary to give it back to not just us as the event, but to you. And so may I present the banner for the very first RPG Limit Break.
I remember that banner. If you watch VODs from 2015, you'll see it too.
It's there in the back wall.
Yep.
If you squint.
Oh, thank you so much.
And with that, we have a special message as well. Can we please send it over to Tantrum Merch?
Hello, RPG Limit Break. I am Tantrum of Tantrum Merch. This was our first year partnering with RPGLB. And I just want to say how this was such a great event to be a part of. I have some thank yous, obviously, that we want to go through. Of course, first we want to thank the RPG crew for just allowing us to be present, to be there on site, to experience the energy and the vibe that was there, and just to hang out with everyone. Special shout out to Heroic and Poexel for working with us. Like Heroic said, we have so many ideas for merch going forward. This was so cool to be able to just be creative and work with so many awesome artists like LOK to bring. I think it was 7 or 8 different designs. We had all types of things from hats to lanyards. It was just cool to be able to be creative and to offer it to the awesome, amazing community that is RPG Limit Break. We raised over $3,000 in just merch alone. thanks to you guys. And it is still selling. It will be available. It will be live until until May 28th. It will be live until May 28th. So people who are watching the reruns and things like that, get shirts or whatever, it will be live on the website, and donations still go to NAMI. So they'll still go to this amazing cause. And when you want to know the final number, make sure you're checking our social medias. Make sure you're checking RPG Limit Break social medias, and we'll post the final numbers when all is said and done. But with that being said, it was an honor to be a part of this crew, to be a part of this event. Thank you all for having us there. And yeah, we'll hope to see you again next year.
Thank you very much, Tantrum Merch. Yeah, I cannot wait till next year and what we have coming forward. But for now, we're going to move on to the testimonial main part of our finale. And so for that, I'll move over to Von Yvonne and Ashton Prime.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Gamer. Hello, everyone out there, and welcome to the finale of RPG Limit Break 2025, where, if you might notice, the lighting isn't quite the same. I'm trying to look at the donation total, and I think I'm reading it right from here. $105,812.
That's some impressive eyesight.
Thank you.
I have to pull it up on my phone to see.
That's the most money we've raised in a single Limit Break event in 6 years. That is truly an incredible accomplishment, but the accomplishment goes to all of you out there watching, those of you in chat, those of you donating. You were the ones that made that number what it was. A lot of us here put in a lot of tireless work. I know they talked about you especially. A lot of us here put in tireless work all week long, but the donations, they came from you. You were the ones that made that happen. So thank you very much. We appreciate you greatly. Now, as Gamer said, we are going to be setting up for what's called our testimonial section. This is a tradition that we do here at Limit Break, where we allow some of our attendees, if they choose to come up and talk a little bit about their experience, maybe their experiences with dealing with mental health and other things, whatnot. And it's a really nice way for folks to be able to talk about what they want to do. So we're going to get that set up. But Ashton, I wanted to get some thoughts from you. This was quite the week that we had here for Limit Break 2025. What were some things that stood out to you? What were some highlights from the week from you?
It has been such a great week, and there's been a lot happening. Like here live, there's so much happening, but I'm going to kind of focus on the runs that happened.
Yeah.
Because, well, one of them, it was my first run ever at a marathon.
It was, and I was so proud of you.
Thank you. It was such a good time, and I really have to give so much love and thanks to Amberly and Bob for just helping make that just the best time and the best first experience that it possibly could have been. And we had a very good time there. But we also had some really cool other runs. We had, I think, the youngest runner ever at a marathon.
By a mile.
Yeah, we had Charlotte do the run of Ultima 3, I think it was.
That was Ultima 3, the regicide percent, yes.
Obviously, with their parent, Oregon Mike, who was there with them. But still, that was just so much fun to have somebody that young who's already getting into it and finding where the joy in speedrunning is.
Yes.
At least, yeah. And then I have to give the greatest props to the Final Fantasy 14 run.
Oh, yeah.
I got to be on audio for that, which mixing 8 different runners' microphones was, honestly, it was a joy. The whole thing was a joy. So even as hard as it should have been to mix 8 different people, it was honestly just so much fun.
For anyone else, it would have made their absolute... It would have made their head spin, but for you, you found joy in it. You were on another level, Ashton.
Yeah.
That's truly incredible.
What about yourself, Lonnie?
So I'm going to talk a little more generally here about Limit Break, and I'll piggyback on some of the stuff that Gamer said. Obviously, this is our first year in Denver, Colorado, and we've certainly found, I feel like, a new home in this city and certainly this state, as opposed to the state that we came from. And a lot of that has to do with, and this is something that I made sure to mention during my run, this has to do a lot with the significant and important contingency of our community that is transgender.
Yeah.
We have a lot of attendees, a lot of folks that watch, a lot of people who are involved in our community that are trans, and to see so many more of them here this year, a much larger presence from them as part of what we do. It was really cool to see, and it was impossible to ignore. Absolutely. That these folks here are so important to us, and the fact that we moved, we moved for several reasons, but that was certainly on the list.
Oh, yeah.
So to see a lot of those folks here was great.
Well, it's baked into our very core.
Yes, absolutely.
That trans rights are human rights.
And no doubt about it.
So moving to a place where it was less difficult to express that was very important.
Yes. This particular venue, Gamer talked about some of the challenges there. Obviously, I'm not going to break that down here. But one thing I will mention about this venue is that, at least compared to the space that we were in for the last, 3 or 4 events?
Since 2019.
Yeah, so 4 events. This place, we definitely had less space. And as a result of the move and everything that I was just talking about, we had more attendees. So everything got, the walls seemed to be a little closer.
Yeah.
But that closeness was something that I really appreciated. The practice room right on the other side of this wall here, that filled up quickly, and seeing everybody together. Togetherness is going to be kind of a big theme of what I'm talking about here. But instead of spread out around the room and kind of just in their own corner doing their own thing, everybody was together. And to really just bring in that sense of community, to really deepen that sense of all of us being together for a common cause, a common passion, a common interest, was something that also was impossible to ignore throughout the week. And even here in the stream room, to have, when it came to the finale, hell, even an hour before Puexo called time, it was there's like 20 people standing out in the hallway here, just because there's so many people in here. They all wanted to be part of what we do and be together. And it was great to have everything just kind of feel a lot closer. Yeah. I really appreciated that. And, again, to break a record for what we've done here. And here's the thing. That's what we've got right now. That number can still increase because of other factors. So and here's the thing. I want to give a shout out to chat for making this happen on stream. So we all got to celebrate it together, as opposed to, oh, hey, send something out after the fact. Hey, we did break it. But, you don't get to, it doesn't feel the same. Yeah. This felt incredible to have that accomplishment. And we were all here hooting and hollering on stream to celebrate it. That's the way that should have gone. And I'm so glad that we were able to do that. So that was fantastic. So they are still getting set up with the testimonials. I'm sure we will get a signal that we are ready. And I actually just got it. Now, what I'm going to do right now is, instead of go to the testimonials, which if you're used to it, you see people in the crowd and they're talking whatnot, we are going to get a very special message before we get started tonight. And that is going to be delivered by the one, the only, Bob the Ninja Goldfish. Bob?
Hey everyone, High Spirits here. Thank you, Bob, for reading this message for everyone. You are a good friend. Damn it, HS, you're making me cry. I apologize for having to cancel my trip on such late notice. My health has been really bad the last couple of weeks, and this trip would have been dangerous for me to make. I wish I could have run the Dragon Quest 3D HD 2D this year. But they also decided to stealth patch the game on Friday, which might have ruined my run anyway. So I suppose it's a blessing and a curse. I want to thank the staff and the community for being so supportive, and I hope that my health will improve so I can return to future events. This week was a lot of fun to watch, and I'm very happy with how everything has turned out. The schedule was great. I said the schedule was great. The runs were great, and the community was great, with all of the support. Everyone here is amazing. I miss you all, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you for another entertaining event. We miss you, High Spirits.
High Spirits, we miss you greatly, and I do want to give a shout out not only to High Spirits, but to all of our staff members and our content members that weren't able to join us this week. That would be High Spirits, Elmagus, Hoishin, Mizuki Bara, Pidge01, Kills Little Monster, Tiny Tim 98, Ghoul02, Austin, Dragon Darch, DJ Tifa Heart, Gramora, Genot, and Seriously Surly. Thank you for everything that you were able to do remotely. Thank you for being a part of what we were doing, even though they couldn't be here. You know, I mean.
And most of them were still doing a bunch of work at home and remotely.
Absolutely.
High Spirits down at Elmagus, constantly checking in with the committee stuff.
Yes.
Hoishin, who's responsible for our layouts working the way we do, multiple times a day where we were getting feedback and giving stuff. Mizuki Bara coordinating all of our social media and just doing a bang-up job of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there were some of these folks here that, you know, weren't able to come, and some that were planning to come and were unable to. And for those ones in particular that we would have loved to have seen but didn't, you know, we miss you. Our heart goes out to you, and we hope to see them next year.
Absolutely.
Always next year. So with that, I believe we are all set here for the testimonial section here of what we're doing here. So at this point, I am going to toss it to Amazing Toaster, who is going to be the one coordinating all of that. So, Toaster.
We're going to start with staff, and first up is Deeds.
You heard him.
Because your name is on the list first.
I'm already a mess, guys. This isn't okay. Maybe it's good I'm first. Hi everybody. Where am I? Okay. Okay. Hi. I'm Silver Deeds. You've probably heard me several times this week. Okay. I'll just start with the fun stuff. This was an amazing. It was so great to be here. I've been looking forward to this all year. Since last year, this has actually been, since last summer break, probably the worst year of my life. It's so great to be here with you guys. And I got to meet my Tochiro, which basically changed my life. I wouldn't even be here if I didn't discover Stream, and he deepened my friendships that I had. And I just thank you so much. You know who you are. I'm not going to shout you out here. I
love you.
Every year I've had a plush theme. I'm going to be real. I had a really cool plush idea for a theme. I didn't do a theme this year. Everyone knows what the shark means. There's been several around at this event. It means something else to me, and I think that's all I can say. I love you all. It's okay to not be okay. Keep struggling, keep fighting. You have a support group. And yeah, I'm done. See you guys.
Will someone please give Deeds a hug?
Move next to Sid. Come out from behind the camera.
Now we are shuffling it for fun. It has been such a wild ride in these 10 years. Being with this event from the start has been amazing. Back then, just hanged out in Essentia's house. And at this point, they trust me enough to throw content on the channel, run the content team, make sure that the production happens, and keep the lights on throughout the year so I can entertain everybody. I'm very humbled by it. But coming to this event has made me a better person. And without all of my friends, staff members, the attendees, the volunteers, it wouldn't exist. And I can't thank everybody enough. But it made me think. I have a challenge for everybody. If I can be better, so can you. And I believe it. No, we all believe that you can be a better person, even if it's just one step at a time. So please take that step. Help yourself and be your best self. That's it. I'm going.
Thank you. Excuse the little noise here. But I got to make sure that everything's clean between each person. Next, we have Rez.
Hello, I'm Riss. I don't normally talk here, but I've been coming a long time. My first year was in 2017. I've always volunteered and been on tech. It was amazing to be able to be staff and make something of this event and really help people that need to know that they're not alone. I'm doing a quick shout out because I love all my Stream Tech volunteers. None of them were late for their shift, and I never got a ping for it, and I feel really good about that. I'm also giving an extra special shout to the three of us that teamed together to make our layouts, Oro and Hoishin, which if I didn't have them, there's no way I could make the games look as nice as they could. So thanks, guys. It was very awesome. And then I just wanted to end with, I wouldn't really be the same person I am today if I didn't choose to come to Limit Break in 2017. I didn't really speedrun any games. I didn't come with any friends. I, vaguely was interested in speedruns, and I was really interested in RPGs, so I just took that chance to come. So if any of you out there watching, you're still watching the finale, you obviously love this organization, this charity, this, niche that we have, this niche within a niche. Speedrunning is a niche. RPG speedrunning is a level below that. But if you have any vague, want to come to Limit Break, please do. If you have any, desire to volunteer, please do. Even if you can't come, we have remote volunteering, please do that. I promise you, if you reach out, if you talk to the people that are here, you might not make the closest of friends, sure, but it will make a difference for you. It made a difference for me. So, thank you.
And next, we're going to Freddie.
Okay, I got a phone. Camera's right there. You know what that means. Some of you may have seen me, some of you may have not. I don't get in front of the camera too often, but this is the third year that I've been privileged to be the lead producer for RPG Limit Break. And being able to watch this role kind of grow and expand into what it's been doing this year especially has been a pleasure to both be a part of and watch. This year, we took the step of expanding the role, as Poexel said earlier, to more producers, both experienced and inexperienced, and it's been it's been just really nice watching people grow into it, watching people do great, and honestly getting the chance to spend more of my time helping things go smoothly, both for the producers and for the stream in general. So we've heard these names before, but I'm gonna say them again. Special shout out to our first year producers, Alicel, Doe Wolf, Freedom Pulse, Moonblaze Wolf, Sanjan, and Stump. And as always, thank you to those that have been producing for a few years now. Amazing Toaster, Ashen Prime, Heroic Spirit Gamer, Miria, Natara, Riz, The Sid, and Zoitaki. Everyone did a great job this year. There is pretty much no fires that I personally had to go put out. A couple schedule things, but it happens. And it's mostly my fault anyway, honestly. That's what I do. Anyway, I do also want to stress, especially once again to Ashen Prime, I've been able to spend a lot of time as well this year just kind of shadowing what he's been doing and like seeing everything that he's been doing and trying to glom as much of that as I can to hopefully take some of that off of the plate eventually. We'll see. But that's something that I aspire to. So thank you for that. Also, something I've been expanding into is we've done a lot more of a focus on runner orientations this year, to the tune of nearly every runner attended one, and I'd like to thank them especially for that, getting the chance to meet every runner this year and give them the lowdown, and just see what they're like and see how their games are going. And a shout out to the runners and commentators who make all of this possible. It can't be said enough that we couldn't have an event without people actually playing the games and doing them fast. It's RPGs, they take a long time otherwise. Finally, 10 years, made it 10 years. I had the pleasure also of being at the very first event. I think I signed that poster that was shown. It's a surprise. And yeah, it's coming here just kind of almost on a whim, or not here, but you know what I mean. Coming to RPG Limit Break almost on a whim 10 years ago with the group of Zillia, people playing Tales of Zillia, which is, I still believe, the most controllers we've ever had in a RPG Limit Break run. It was just a very special experience for me and something that I'm glad to still be here 10 years later for. So with that, I think I've worn out the time, so I will let someone else continue.
I'm just going to take a second here to say thank you to all of my stage deck volunteers for helping out this week. We couldn't do it without you. But on that, we're going to send it over to Bob.
I have a $200. No, I'm kidding. We'll get to my personal talking $1 million in a moment, but how am I the first person to bring up that we made $1 million a lifetime? Like, for the little marathon that could, that's pretty freaking spectacular. I had to censor myself there. During Chrono Trigger, Poexel mentioned that this run meant a lot to me. Back in the heady days of 2014, when my knees didn't want to explode every time I got out of bed, I took a risk and traveled solo to a little event called AGDQ. For those of you who remember AGDQ 2014, that was the first year that AGDQ broke the $1 million. I was a totally unknown quantity at that event. And this was back before AGDQ had any kind of structure to its volunteering. It was just come in, do what you can. I basically spent 7 days sat at the donation station at AGDQ 2014 because, spoiler alert, it was the best seat in the house. Seriously, you were like 4 feet from the runners. I also volunteered to do a few hosting shifts there. My very first ever hosting shift, I don't know if Poexel remembers this or not, was PJ's ActRaiser 2 run. And I'm like, yes, I'm going to get to host. This is going to be brilliant. And I sat down at the host desk and I looked down, and the couch was PJ, Mecharector, Blecky, Poexel, and Breakdown. And I went, well, that's the Mount Rushmore speed running. I'm not saying anything for the next 2 hours. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. I did the intro, the run went, and it was great. And then the finale happened, which, as Poex also mentioned, was Chrono Trigger, run by Obda Jr. And there were 2 people that possibly could have hosted the run that broke AGDQ the million. It was me and another guy. And the other guy didn't know how to run the donation software. So I ran the donation software. And you can hear me in that VOD. If you listen close enough, you can hear me yelling like, 998,000. So this year has been very, 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 very personal for me. And I want to thank you all for making it a year that's not only personal for me, but such a brilliant year for Limit Break itself. Next up, I want to say thank you to all of our volunteers. I know Poexel said we wouldn't have time to mention them all, but here we go. No, I'm kidding. The reason we wouldn't have time to mention them all is this year we had 136 different volunteers across 12 different departments. And it's my job to coordinate them all. As you can imagine, that makes for a very stressful April. As such, I want to say thank you to Ashen and GK, who really stepped up this year to take a lot of the in-between off of my shoulders. They went out of their way to make sure they were making sure that, oh, hello. That I wasn't having to worry about whether documentation was being finished, or that I had to miss the event last year. And I know I put on a brave face with the tribal chief and asking everybody to acknowledge me and all of that. But it really sucked to not be around what has come to be my found family. My father passed away a long time ago. I've not heard from my mother in over a decade. You hear a lot about trans rights being human rights, and holy shit, they are. But I beg you all, please, and please don't take what I'm about to say the wrong way. There are so many other communities out there that need help as well. We acknowledge trans people. We acknowledge those who are disabled. We acknowledge the people of color. We acknowledge you all. And I say it a lot in whatever I do, whatever I can, that no matter who you are, no matter who you represent, no matter what you identify as, no matter what your physical being, no matter what your creed, your color, your variability, come be a part of our community. You belong here. And all I know, and the way I know that is how much love this community gives me. I am a broken man in more ways than one. My body is rebelling against me, and every single person here does everything they can to make my life easier when I'm on site. I would be remiss with also, you guys met Ray this year from NAMI, Colorado. I want to give a big shout out to Tony Lee and Leandra at NAMI National, and who are our new team. For those of you who don't know, we've been dealing with a new team this year. We even got an email from our previous NAMI rep, Michelle, this year, wishing us the best of luck. I'm going to stop tearing up because I'm exhausted. But what I will say is this. In conclusion, thank you. And acknowledge me!
We love you, Bob.
I love you too, Toaster. You beautiful human being.
That does it for all the staff, and we will move on to the general audience, and we'll start with Rizu-kun.
Where am I looking? Right here. Really? Bob, that's what I have to follow?
Yes, step it up. I'm kidding. I love you, Doc Brown.
You got it. You know, it's strange. My whole life, I felt like there's been this barrier between me and other people. I can see them on the other side. I can watch them go about their lives. I can hear them laugh and see them smile, but I can't reach them. I can't join them. And trapped as I am in this prison, I rage against it. On buzzing wings, I throw myself into these walls over and over and over. People hear, but they don't listen. People look, but they don't see. For years and years, I have pounded my fists against this glass. I have screamed my throat raw. I have shattered into a million pieces of clay far away from the person I wish I could be, crying out, somebody, anybody, please see me, hear me, understand me. I just need somebody. I need anybody. But nobody came. The raps on my knuckles taught me what happens when I reach for what I need. My curled spine, forehead pressed against my knees, is how I learned to survive when I tried to be anything other than the smallest version of myself. We all write our own truths, indelible, inescapable, carved into our hearts, and mine, that I wear wrapped around my neck in security, is that people only love me because they don't know any better. I know pain. My skin knows how to scar, and I've felt my insides twist into untangleable endless knots, but none of that compares to the yawning chasm of isolation, to the agony of withering to nothing inch by awful inch. This ache has worn itself into my bones. It is as much a part of me as the scar on my leg, as the way I hold a pencil, as my favorite shade of green. It never stops, and I want to turn away from it. I want to close my eyes against it. I am so tired of it just being me and my shadows. Except it never has been. Because sometimes I hear other people pounding on the glass next to me. There are hands that reach out and touch my shoulder, that reassure me, that say, I am here. You are not alone. I get it. They know what it means to laugh despite all of your despair. They paint smiles on faces that have long forgotten how. They bring with them refracted light that scatters darkness and illuminates the gray in brilliant iridescence. My eyes were so glued to this world that was beyond my reach that I was completely blind to all the warmth and love around me. I do not know why you feed love to this scrap of humanity, intimate as I am with my ugliest thoughts and most wretched impulses. I do not see what you see, and perhaps that doesn't matter. Lonely as I am, I do not bear this pain in isolation. Loved despite everything I am seen, I am heard, I am understood. My voice does not echo into emptiness. Surrounded by love, surrounded by you, I find the strength to keep going for at least just one more day.
Spoiler alert, you followed it.
He said, I'm over here now. Hi. Let's go to Sumdiener next.
Hello, everyone. Sumdiener here. I hope everyone has enjoyed RPG Limit Break 2025. It's truly a wonderful, one-of-a-kind show, tons of fun, and raising money for the cause of mental health and NAMI means so much to every one of us here. Getting to be a part of it again this year is really special to me. Thank you. Of course, the main show here at RPG Limit Break is speedruns. So many amazing and talented people showcase their knowledge and personality in exciting ways. And not just that, even more folks behind the scenes that help develop the strategies we see on the big stage. I love speedrunning. It's been a challenging and engaging way to enjoy my favorite games. And it's been amazing seeing just how far my own talent and diligence has taken me, farther than I ever would have dreamed. It's teaching me even more about myself every time I play. And I hope you at home got a chance to watch something you enjoyed, whether that be a game that you love or a new game you just learned about this week. But beyond that, my own favorite thing about RPG Limit Break is actually the community. Our community is overflowing with diverse and spectacular individuals who all bring their own passion and talents and experiences and personalities, and RPG Limit Break is built on 10 years. 10 years of contributions from this special group of people. I'm forever happy I came to this community my first year in 2018, and it immediately made me an RPG Limit Break lifer. We all come from different places in our lives, and truly from all around the world for RPG Limit Break. And even though I was new that year, I was immediately welcomed and embraced by everyone here. And I want to do the same. RPG Limit Break is what it is because of each and every one of you. Yeah, everyone. At the very top, the staff who founded RPG Limit Break and ran the very first event 10 years ago. The talented and dedicated tech staff who builds the tools we use to put on the show, which, believe me, goes on behind the scenes much, much more than just 1 week. Our super creative artists giving their time and energy to the layouts, logos, promo banners, the cool attendee badges. The content team putting together new, fun ideas all year long. The generous folks who provide our donation prizes, some amazing stuff that you cannot find anywhere else. The volunteers and your contributions, big and small. We certainly can't do this without you. Everyone who's able to be here at the live event, it's been a delight hanging out with you and meeting new friends. And everyone who turned in this week, watching, donating to NAMI, and chatting along with our community. Indeed, RPG Limit Break feels like more than a community. It feels like family. As RPG Limit Break has been going on all week, I hope you all have had a great time watching and being a part of our family. And even though our annual live marathon here is coming to an end, there's still so much more to RPG Limit Break. Follow the channel, join the Discord, watch events, and chat with us all year long. And think about coming out to RPG Limit Break if you can. We'd love to have you here. I'm so happy each and every one of you is a part of our RPG Limit Break family. Thank you so much for 10 beautiful years of RPG Limit Break. I love you all, and I can't wait to see all the spectacular and special things we're going to do across another 10 years. Thank you.
All right. Let's move on to PSEG next.
Hey, everybody. I'm Trace, Peace Egg Online. And sorry, I don't normally have notes. I don't like reading off notes, but I've already cried once this finale, and I don't want to blabber on and blubber on here, so this is what you get. So this is my first RPG Limit Break of any sort, like hosting or anything. This is the first one I've been to, ever. This is the second time I've hosted at a live event anywhere. And this is my 5th time hosting in general. And the host role means so much to me and kind of goes back all the way to my childhood. And that's kind of a tale I want to weave to y'all today. So growing up, I was a kid of the 80s. And the late 80s, early 90s, one of the greatest things in the world to me was game shows. And the heart of game shows was the MC. The MC, so watching Double Dare, Price is Right, all that stuff. So you see all these great hosts, people who put the focus not on them, but on the people that are taking part in this whole strange world around them, especially in cases of Double Dare, if I'm being honest here. And at some point I thought, oh, this is what I want to do growing up. I want to be an MC, a host of some sort. And so I kind of carried that with me as I grew older and older. And at some point, internal and external influences kind of took that away from me. External being people saying, you're not good enough. You're just kind of a loser. You'll never be good at this. You talked funny. You are kind of just a weirdo. You don't belong in anything cool or amazing. And then you start to internalize that a little bit. You start to think, okay, yeah, maybe I'm really not that good. I guess you just kind of take that internal, and then you realize, oh, if everything I do is bad, then I really should just try to stay out of everybody's business. And you start to shut down a little bit. And was the majority of my childhood, is shutting down and just doing what I need to do to get by and just avoiding contact with anybody, avoiding being around people unless I absolutely had to, and just not living a great life, just waiting for it to just progress to some inevitable endpoint. And, that was for a while, just not splendid. I went through a lot of stuff. I will not regale you with the intricacies of it because I feel like that is any other segment down the road, but I will say that it took me a very long time to right myself. It wasn't until I was about 36 years old that I felt okay putting myself out in public again. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of just self-reflection, therapy, what have you. And not only just wanting to put myself out there publicly, but wanting to exist, which that combination together was kind of where I started to finally come around at age 36. And eventually I started to warm up to different ideas, and my first hosting stint, which I believe was an event called Winter Pride, was when I was 40 years old. I have enjoyed hosting. It is, in my opinion, kind of like what Bob was alluding to earlier. It is one of the best seats in the house. I get to sit in front of some of the best speedrunners I've ever seen. I get to watch them point blank. I get to look over their runs, all the intricacies of it. I get to read wonderful donations from their communities, from people who love them, who care about them. And that's kind of the coolest thing. And it's a little bit of that shred of what hosting was for me growing up. I'm not taking the spotlight. I am illuminating someone else's spotlight. I'm helping someone else be incredible. And I'm in my 40s now, and I'm just starting out on this, and it's a lovely thing, and I just want the message to get out there. And I was trying to figure a good message, a good concise way to put it up into for all of you. And I think the best way to put it is something I saw when I was sitting in the green room waiting for one of my hosting stints. I looked over at the interview computers, and there was a message there completely unrelated, but also very much related. You have time. Don't worry about how old you are, how much time it takes to write yourself, how much time it takes to make yourself solid again. If you're going through something, just keep fighting, keep working on it. You're going to get there. You're going to be better. If you just want to achieve something and be better, you have time. Don't forget that. With that said, there's a bunch of people I could thank around here. Y'all know who you are. I've got so much family around here now. I love y'all. That's all. Thank you all for everything. Thank you all for believing in me and this hosting. And let's just keep fighting and keep being strong and being amazing. And hey, until next year, every year you do this. I'm here if you'll have me. Thanks, y'all.
All right, next up, organ mic.
You know very well when you put me in front of a camera and give me a microphone, there's going to be two reactions. Oh, great, it's him. Or, oh, great, it's them. So that's, yeah, there you are. So we've heard a lot this evening. I don't have notes. I have been standing in the back trying to come up with something intelligent and insightful to say. And I don't have notes in front of me, but we've heard a lot about people's histories and the history of the event tonight. I want to talk about its future, and I want to talk about everyone's future here. And it's going to start, of course, with a story from my own past, because that's how we do these things. 2023, I packed a 5-year-old child into a car and drove 23 hours from Winnipeg to Salt Lake City. In 3 days. We didn't do that all at once because she can't take the seat behind the wheel yet. And we arrived at an event. My partner was supposed to come with us, and she got stuck at work and had to fly down later. And one of the first things I then had to do, because I had a run at 3 a.m, was find a babysitter. And that was extremely easy. I simply posted in the chat, hey, this is the situation. And someone said, yeah, I can do that. Great, fantastic. That was simple. We then arrived, and I sat down in the practice room to try and get a feel for what I was doing, and watched mildly horrified as my daughter took every last one of the spare chairs that weren't being sat in and lined them up in a perfectly straight row. And I wondered what sort of trouble I was getting myself into, and it turned out none. And so she then got interested in what I was doing and started sitting beside me and I said to her, do you want to try and do some of this? And she said, yes, I'd like to, in 5-year-old speak. And we started working through it, and I contacted someone on the games team or the host team, or I can't remember who I contacted, and said, hey, my daughter would like to co-pilot. Would that be all right? And the reaction, and I thought, like, well, this is awfully late into the event to be planning this. And the reaction was, yeah, sure. Well, all right then. We then drove home, the three of us at that point, and made our way back home. Wasn't 2 days later, she was asking when we could go back. I said, this only happens once a year. She said, I want to go back. I said, well, we'll talk about it next year. Next year we flew in. We had planned it. We had planned for her to be my co-pilot on Ultima 2. And again, there was some arranging of chairs. There was some time where she curled up in the corner with a blanket and her phone. And Not a single person here batted an eye. That was astonishing to me. I mean, it helps that she's an incredibly good child, but still, no one questioned this kid sitting with a face mask on, because that's what we did the last 2 years, in the corner with a phone, or sitting beside me, or watching other people. She learned other people's runs and just watched them do them. And everyone was just completely open and accepting. This year, y'all let her run her own run. Yeah. A 7-year-old kid running a 42-year-old game. And you just let her do that. Like, that's beautiful, guys. That's wonderful. And that is your future. That is what you are contributing, all of you here. You are, and I mean very directly in the case of Charlotte, but just generally, you are creating space for more people to do this. You are creating space, again, as it was said earlier, this is a niche of a niche. You are creating space in that niche for more people to join in, to have fun. This place is accepting of anyone who comes here, including me with my weird old games. Including this, which no one has ever batted an eye about. I misgender myself more than anyone, and yet here I am. And still, like, there hasn't been a single issue of, not a question of my child doing strange things, not a question of me doing strange things. You're all welcoming and open, and it's beautiful, and it's a wonderful thing that you have built here, and I hope you keep building it, and I hope to be a part of it going forward. Thank you all very much.
I think I can speak for everyone that we'll have you and her back for as long as you want to come.
If we're not careful, Charlotte's going to be running this place in 3 years.
You're an anchor?
Hello. I've been going over what I wanted to say in my head for the last 30 minutes, and it just all left because, of course, it did. I would like to start off by saying that it's been great to see everything that this event has become. I'm not a co-founder, but I'm about as close as you can get to it because, as Puexel said, there was a meeting in a far restaurant probably within walking distance of this hotel. Unfortunately, I can't figure out which one it is because there's like 6 of them. And Google, I know you still have my navigation history. Cough it up. Please tell me which restaurant that was. But I don't even remember who all was there. It was like 6 or 7 of us figuring out what to do and putting the event together, and here it is. And as a lot of you know, I was one of the people who really put in a lot of work on getting the donation tracker started up. SMK's the other one, but even though he hasn't contributed to the donation tracker in probably a decade at this point, his name is still on a lot of the code that keeps that thing running. So huge shout outs to SMK for everything he did, and really helped lay the foundation for what that became, and everything it's facilitated over the last 15 years. It's been great to be back because I couldn't really justify going all the way out to Salt Lake City if I wasn't participating in some way, and having it come back to Denver was exactly the shot in the arm I needed. So it's a nice bit of poetry to come back and do the same run again. But just had one more thing I wanted to say. Axeman, I see you over there. It has been 13 years. You need to update the task, buddy.
Up next, AKD.
Hi, I'm AKD, or Diley. Thanks to RPG Limit Break staff, volunteers, runners, and everyone else for putting on an amazing event, and to all who I was able to hang out with this week. There's more to this event beyond the show and the speedruns and the drive for Nami, and it is incredible and inspiring. We are living in interesting times. It's challenging to know what can be done, or if anything can be. Doubt and uneasiness is everywhere. I've struggled with this for a long time, pushing back against the crushing weight of the world, compounding with seemingly endless personal challenges. Though it's still hard for me, it's important to find some way to make a difference. What I can do is share what I try to follow to stay on top of things. Progress comes from action. Wherever you can, take control for yourself. Don't fall into the hole of what if or it's impossible. Don't leave things all to others, though don't take on things alone. Find new opportunities, try new ideas, be just a bit more patient and welcoming. Don't assume the worst in others, be humble and forgiving, be open to new ideas, trying new things, and meeting new people, and never give up on the idea of a better world and a better life. Thank you, RPG Limit Break.
Next, let's go to Alice Rajasu.
Thanks. Well, I guess you've heard from people saying, they've been here since the beginning, and people saying that, this is their first time. And I guess for me, it's a little bit of both. I've been watching since the beginning, since the very first Limit Break, and I've been volunteering remotely for years, but this is my first time being here. This is my first time, really going to a live event and that being my life for just a week, which is, first of all, it's awesome. It's, awesome showing up here and, meeting a lot of people who I've known as, a name in a chat room or, a face on a camera. And it's like coming here and talking to y'all and, it's like I'm just another old friend. And, it's really been wonderful how you all have treated me. And, I've needed, help this week for, various things that have been going on, technical stuff, physical stuff, everything. And you all have been great. With Limit Break, we're raising money for mental health. And I guess in the beginning, that was always something that I thought was important, but never necessarily felt it. I kind of thought I have ADHD, but I don't really understand mental illness. And it's become more and more important to me, in the last couple of years as I've been dealing more and more with various stuff, mainly anxiety, and understanding that I have anxiety and that anxiety getting bigger and bigger for, reasons that I'm sure you all can understand. But I'm so happy I could be here. I don't know if I'll be here next year because of positive reasons, but reasons. So if I'm not here next year, I want to be here, you know, every year after that for years to come, because I love y'all.
Next up, let's go to Lisa. Lisa, you here? There she is. I hear she rocks.
Thank you so much. Hello, RPG Limit Break 2025. I know it's been a night getting long, so Wells. One thing. I signed that banner. I don't know where it went, but I signed that banner in 2015, so that's pretty cool. Two, when I was here 10 years ago for the first RPG Limit Break, the final 2 games on the schedule were Final Fantasy IV and Chrono Trigger. So, Games Committee, make a note for RPG Limit Break 2035. RPG Limit Break's a very important event to me. I love it. I've made so many friends here, and to keep it short, I'm going to do my best to make sure we get more Hyperdimension Neptunia games on the schedule. Thank you so much, everyone.
At this point, we need to send it back to Vanny.
All righty, thank you very much, Toaster. You know, these testimonials here really, I think, encapsulate the diversity of the folks that we have here, just in the way that they delivered their messages.
Oh, absolutely.
Some of them were very thoughtful and pensive, some were very light and jovial, and others were extremely powerful. But the way that, but I think that's what makes this community so beautiful, is that people express themselves in different ways, and you can take that in, you know, a lot of different directions, but people can still express themselves in very different ways and still come together and still find common ground and still really, you know, engender that sense of community and camaraderie that has become the foundation of what we do here at RPG Limit Break.
Yeah, like it's easy to sugarcoat, but the fact of the matter is we get this many people together and not everybody is going to get along with everyone all of the time.
Yes.
But because we have that common ground, because we're all here for the same cause, we're all here supporting NAMI, we're all here raising money, playing games together, because that foundation is there, it doesn't matter what the sum of the times is. Right. Most of the time, we're all here and we're all together and we're having a great time.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're actually going to be hearing some more testimonials, but the reason why we took this quick break here is that the next testimonials that you're going to be hearing here, the folks that are going to be delivering them have indicated that they are going to be a little more sensitive, maybe a little more heavy in content. We're giving some of the folks here in the audience a minute or two to leave the room if they feel like maybe that's going to be a bit overwhelming or difficult for them to hear. And for those of you watching at home, we do want to kind of give you that warning as well, so that you see that content warning up there, so that, if you want to, I don't know, maybe mute the stream, step away for a few minutes if you feel like it might be a bit much. We want to give you that opportunity. But that being said, we do have some more testimonials that if you would like to, you will be hearing soon, and I will send it back to Toaster so we can keep that going.
Thanks, Fonny. With that said, we're going to go on with Cell.
I've already been crying, so we'll see if I continue to do so. I guess we'll start a little bit with how I ended up getting involved with RPG Limit Break. Last year, I noticed in a server I was in that there was a great call out for more volunteers and especially more hosts, which if you know marathons, usually they don't need more hosts. And so I dared to apply. This was after I'd received some pretty devastating feedback suggesting that I was not a good host at all. And I don't know, Vonnie, you took a chance on me. And that changed a lot of trajectory for a lot of things. Hosted, that was a very interesting host shift. We won't get into all of that. It was an experience. GK's laughing because he was there for it. It was an experience. And I knew I wanted to come back and be involved the next year, remotely in some way, ideally. Got more marathon experience, got to host SGDQ, AGDQ this past year. And shortly after AGDQ, I had a friend completely, absolutely violate my trust. So severely that I am actually surprised I'm still alive. And I'm still here thanks to the power of community and power of friends. And sort of recovered from that, but I had sort of started to withdraw a lot from people in a lot of ways. And so staff applications opened up. Yes, they gave me one of these. I'm not sure why. We're still figuring that out. And I have to say, staff has been so welcoming and so friendly, especially as someone who does not play RPGs, does not, dare I say, not really like RPGs. That's a really bold sentence to say. Sorry, I like weird ones like Stardew Valley. Sorry. Thank you.
Just not Fabio.
But yeah, joining staff, getting involved in content team really gave me a chance to sort of start to trust people a little bit again. And then we got on site. For those of you who don't know, I am normally a VTuber. As my community is saying, this is my, quote, flesh tuber debut. I am sorry, chat mods, for introducing that term to chat. So hello, I'm in front of a camera. I'm still not sure how I feel about that, but Sunday night, right, I'd been in a segment early on Sunday, and it had gone well, but was nerve-wracking first time on camera. And then I got hit with a piece of heartbreaking news. A couple of hours later, another devastating piece of news, and then a fire in another situation in my life, and then another thing. And it was so much that I remember I walked out into the lobby, and I was prepared to just walk out of the hotel, and I don't know where I was going to go. And in the lobby, I ran into Cece, who, shout out to Cece, fantastic roommate. Cece and a group playing Blood on the Clock Tower. And dragging me in very hesitantly, very much not wanting to be around anyone. Very much wishing I could die, except I ended up being bad the first game. So that didn't go so well. Being able to take my mind off of things for a few hours. And then after that, Hotbot and CC, we sat up until like 5 in the morning and just kind of sat there and vibed. And since then, things are better, doing better. Sunday was rough, we're doing better now. But I guess the summary of all of this is, yes, there will be things that are going to absolutely knock you down. Get up, keep going. There are people who care about you. You are loved, you matter. You have value, you have unique things you bring. And it's okay to be afraid of new things. It is okay. But giving up means there's no chance for anything to turn around. So keep on going.
All right, let's move on to RP Priya. Is she in the room? If she comes back, we'll let her go. But let's move on to musical Daredevil.
Very musical indeed.
Got to do what you got to do, right? Exactly. We like to call this aisle skip. Yeah. So yes, I am musical Daredevil, and this was actually my first time on site here at RPG Limit Break after getting involved remotely a few times with these events. And while I am here at RPG Limit Break because the majority of the games I run are indeed RPGs, one of the reasons I am also here at RPG Limit Break is because for all of my life, I have actually suffered from both anxiety and depression. I have had days where I've gotten 8, 9, 10, 11 hours of sleep and gone through the day feeling like I hadn't gotten any. I've even had some days where if there hadn't been something pulling me out of bed, I probably never would have left it. I've had days where I've walked down the hallway at events, at my job, other places, and I've passed by people. I've wanted to say hi to them. I've wanted to talk to them. I've wanted to stop. I'm sure they would have wanted to talk to me, but I just couldn't. I'm sure we've had lovely conversations with those people, maybe gone to lunch, maybe played a game or two, but I just couldn't. There have been other times where, maybe it's a day where I want to stream and I get OBS set up, I get my game set up, and that start stream button is right there. I just can't. And that's only the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more to this. But I just want to say that for those of you who are out there, who might be facing some of the same challenges I have been facing, I was able to find some help. And with that help, I've been able to manage some of what I've been struggling with. And for those of you out there who may be facing those same challenges, you are not alone. There is help out there for you. And if you ask for it, you might be surprised who will be there for you.
I did see that Priya came in while Daredevil was talking, so come on up.
Oh, all right. I'm so freaking tired, and I've been crying because of the tiredness, probably, as Bob said earlier. So, not gonna lie, this speech might suck, probably will. I'm so freaking tired. It's been a hell of a week. And I need to read my speech at this point, to be honest. There's so many people I wanted to have conversations with this year, but due to factors outside my control, I wasn't able to. And, I feel a lot like the guy who spoke before me just now. Sorry, I couldn't see your name on the... Anyway, sorry. So TLDR, I'm mostly here to shout out to my homies that I missed this year. Kateria, you picked a great year to skip. Tux Dev, I haven't actually seen you in 2 years, but you're so cool, and I miss your slice of life anime recommendations and your great laugh. So, also shout out to my homie Silver Dudes, who, I'm sorry, last year's been rough. I honestly spent the last year kind of just coasting by, scared to start streaming, And I want to start streaming because I want to be a functional human being who can, talk and stuff and get a job. Anyway, it's now my turn to have a rough year because it's the year of the snake, and which is ironic with the guy that got elected. I was born the year of the snake. So according to the Chinese zodiac, it's going to be a particularly unlucky year for me. And that sucks. And it's sucked so far, that's for sure. I was optimistic this week would go great, but it definitely hasn't. So, well, at least I don't know. as far as getting actual rest or anything, I suppose it didn't turn out great. But, you know, small mercies like seeing Palmer and some other people, some friends, and having a very good roommate, huge saving grace. Let's see. Earlier this year, I lost a significant Twitch community that I've been a part of for 6 years. Technically, I didn't get kicked out, but I was treated with such suspicion and disrespect that I'm seriously considering never watching that streamer again or being part of that community. And it's just interesting to me, though, that everybody I liked in that community also drifted away from being treated wrong. And then I just think, why is it that people like me and them always get to not be part of a community that they like just because of like our personality? And it just freaking sucks. So yeah. Just continuing to improve myself and figure out where I fit in. You know, Bob says I belong, but I don't know how welcome I am. But then again, does it even matter if I'm welcome? Like, I'm used to places and people not knowing how to talk to me or be around me. Hell, I'd love to know how to talk to me and be around me as well. And I want to say to staff, or hell, anyone, I suppose, please don't hold stuff against me if you are. I'm really sorry I haven't been the most reliable volunteer, but thanks to failing so much, I understand just how limited I am now. It's one of the hardest things, admitting to yourself how limited you are. But thanks to this, you know, I feel like I can take steps forward in doing something with my life that can help society. And, you know, because you got to help yourself before you can help at an event like this, you know. This is a completely unrelated tangent, but people adopt dogs knowing, or cats, knowing and hoping that they will outlive their dog or cat. And if you have a pet that's starting to get old, or one that may die soon, to quote the show on Netflix, Death Let Me Do My Special, dogs don't know they're tragic, dogs don't know they're sad. Dogs are just grateful for all the time they've had. And I love you, Johnny, the Shiba Inu, and you're the reason heaven exists.
Hotbot.
Hi, Hotbot here is a longtime lurker, first-time chatter. So, I was lurking. What can I say? So, this is the fourth in-person RPG Limit Break I've been to since my first one in 2018, and this has been 7 years in the making. So, Wells, I'm watching. I'll keep it brief, as quick as I can. I just want to thank, just from the bottom of my... Freddie, come on. I saw you put that sign up. I want to start just a heartfelt thanks to all of the staff, the founders, the volunteers, everyone that helps make this event happen, everyone in chat and the stream and the donators. Thank you for making this event possible. Thank you for helping to create this community where people can come together and they can just be themselves and they can support a cause that is just so important to everyone. And regardless of whatever the final donation total is, it's just the work that we are doing here is life-changing, and I'm here to say I am proof of that. I met my partner, Kimberly, the love of my life here at RPG Limit Break, and I started my mental health journey because of the things and the people, things I heard and the people that I talked with while I was here that year. Sorry, I lost my place there. And despite all of life's challenges, I am the happiest that I have ever been in my entire life. I can stand here and say that right now. Without RPG Limit Break, without the kindness of the friends I've met in this community, without that first crack in the masks I had been wearing my entire life up to that point, I don't think I would still be here. In 2018, I was sitting in the audience of a finale just like this one. I was listening to everyone share their stories, and I heard our good friend, Bob the Ninja Goldfish, our Limit Break chief, head of the host table. I acknowledge you. He said something that changed everything for me. To paraphrase a memory from 7 years ago, if you are hurting, say something. Don't suffer in silence. Let others in and help you. To pull back the curtain and explain why this meant so much to me. Growing up, I had been diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, which since then has been reclassified to being on the autism spectrum. My brain, it just does not work the same as other people. I am more sensitive to things than most people. Things that come naturally to others, I have to manually think and try to do and guess what I'm supposed to do. Almost every time I say something, it has gone through multiple checks and filters. Is this the correct thing to say? Is this appropriate? Am I being annoying? How will the other person react to what I'm going to say? And what will I have to plan ahead to? What will the other person likely say after that? Over and over and over again. I did my best to adapt and push myself and keep up with everyone else. I have to be normal. I have to be smart. I have to work harder. I have to be helpful. I can't ever let it show how much I am struggling to do the same things that everyone else is. I built up that mask. I put up those walls. I never let people know how I really felt. It took me 7 years to come up and share this story. It almost killed me. On paper, I got good grades, I had my career, I was a hard worker, and underneath it all, I was just miserable and hopeless. I was just drifting along trying to please everyone else. And I couldn't let anyone else see how much pain I was in. But as a result of RPG Limit Break, from meeting the love of my life, from meeting Kimberly, those words from Bob, they were the first cracks in that mask. It was the first time I had ever considered the possibility that I deserved to be happy. The first time I saw myself as anything other than a monster just pretending to be a human. It took a long time, a lot of therapy, a lot of love from my family, my brother Blaze, everyone who I have talked to over these years. It all starts with that first step, that journey. So fast forwarding back to today, if I can help one person the same way that Bob helped me all those years ago, this will have all been worth it. For that person who may be hurting, for the person that is wearing that mask, while pretending that it's all okay, for that person I was 7 years ago, sitting in the audience, this is for you. It will get better. That pain you're feeling, it won't be there forever. Please don't give up. The world is a better place with you in it, and you are worth fighting for. Don't hide behind that mask. If you're hurting, don't suffer in silence. Say something and let those who care about you help you. With that said, thank you to everyone. Thank you, RPG Limit Break. Thank you to my family and to friends, new and old, for making this world a better place. I look forward to seeing you all next year.
And that is a vintage 2018 badge, if you didn't notice. With that, we're going to send it back over to Vonnie.
Hotbot, if you don't get over here for a hug, I'm going to whoop your ass.
Bob's got some business to attend to there, but you know, listening not just to these testimonials, the last few we heard, but all of them, I am so proud of the people that we have here in this community to be willing to be so vulnerable and lay themselves bare, not just for the people that are sitting here in attendance, but to everybody watching at home, knowing that this is going to be recorded, that to get their feelings out there, and sometimes they just don't feel like they have another opportunity to do so, but to have the comfort to do it here, to have the trust to do it here with this community that is so accepting and understanding and can relate to a lot of these people, it's truly powerful. And you know, we've been hooting and hollering all day long about this over $105,000 raised that for the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and every single dime of that goes to charity. But then, what is it that they do? You know, what is it that that this money that we're contributing to them, the resources that they're able to provide, is you know, for anybody else that can relate to, you know, anything, something that these folks that have just been giving their testimonies of going through, you know, what is it that they can do?
Yeah, well, and there was a great interview earlier today with Atitri and Cell talking with Ray from NAMI,
Awesome.
and going into a lot of that.
Yeah.
But one of the big things, one of the big tools that I want to shout out right now for anybody who needs it, but also just as a, this is what we're doing, this is what we're here for, is that there is a NAMI helpline.
Yep.
It is US-based, but it's a nationwide peer support service providing information, resources, referrals, and support to the people living with mental health conditions, their family members, caregivers, and mental health providers. You would have heard this multiple times throughout the week.
Yep.
Because I'm reading the same copy, but it's still, that's because it's important. The NAMI helpline is available Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time via phone, call, text, phone call. I made that two words. That's one word. Phone call, text, or live web chat, if any of those work for you. To reach the NAMI helpline, please call 1-800-950-6264 or visit nami.org/help to access all the NAMI helpline resources and contact information.
Absolutely, yes. Please do take advantage if you feel like you could use it, if you feel like you need it. All this money you've helped us raise all week long goes toward being able to provide help to folks potentially like you that would need it. Don't waste it. Use those resources. They are out there for you. And speaking of being out there for you, there's a community out there for you. Obviously, a lot of us got to know each other through online.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, this is not a community that by its nature was one that was, you know, from being close by.
Yeah.
But we've all come together from all over the world, and this is something I've talked about several times at these events about what I love about it. But you heard a couple of people say it here. If you feel like you need a community, if you feel like you can relate to some of the people that you heard here, and you want to be a part of what we do, and you want to be a part of something, and something truly special and truly powerful, RPG Limit Break 2026. Start making your plans now. We would love to have you. If you would like to be able to contribute online as a volunteer, we love those. We need plenty of those. You can do that as well, but certainly being here and being a part of what we do, welcome. We welcome you with open arms.
Absolutely.
People from all walks of life, people from all over the world, people from any kind of creed or, you know, their sexual orientation, gender preference, what have you. We accept them all, we love them all, and if you want to be a part of what we do here, you have a community, and I guarantee you that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna to take that and run it into here on this very Twitch channel. You know, we do this event once a year.
Yep.
But we also do more than that.
We sure do.
We've got a lot of content that we put together. The Sid has been just knocking it out of the park these last several months, getting it all put together. So stick around, like hang out, see what's available. And not just here, not just from the RPG Limit Break official. We also are hosting community events all the time.
Yes.
The next big one that comes to mind immediately for me is the Final Fantasy Relay.
Yeah.
It's happening in August, I think.
July, I want to say off the top of my head. It's coming up.
It's completely wrong. I should have looked that up before I went on the tangent. But
it is. It's a big annual event. It is an absolute celebration of all things Final Fantasy for a good 3 or sometimes 4 days, depending what games are in there. But it's all 1st of August.
1st of August,
okay,
thank
very
you.
good. So you were right. So if that's the kind of thing that you like, if you want to hear more about other speed runs, if you'd like to see randomizer tournaments, races, things like that, there's all kinds of content for you here on the channel. Yeah, it's not just this event. Obviously, this is our flagship event every year, but when it comes to just the celebration of RPGs and speed running and whatnot, we've got all kinds of stuff for you. And even some things where we're doing the podcast, where we're just talking about it. You know, sometimes just being able to, and that's one great thing about how we build this community is we just express our common interests with one another.
Yeah.
And so if you see a podcast episode come up like, oh, hey, I know that person, I know that game, I love that game, I want to hear more about it, I want to be entertained for an hour or two, whatever it is, you know, learn some more in-depth information, something insightful, whatnot, make sure you follow this channel and you keep an eye on it, because we're going to have great content for you all year long. You know, we were shouting out the content team a lot. You and I are a part of that, as well as many others. And you know, you'll be hearing and seeing us not just this week, but all year long. So so definitely stay tuned for that.
And because of the vagaries of all of our schedules, those usually land on a Sunday.
Yes.
Which, as a hint, tomorrow is a Sunday. I wonder.
Oh.
I almost forgot it.
Is the Is there still more Limit Break coming?
I definitely couldn't say. People will just have to watch and find out.
I suppose they will. But as far as RPG Limit Break 2025 goes, you know, we've got to bring the party to a close at some point, and
it's so sad.
It is very sad, but we have arrived.
People
at
are
this point.
actively taking stuff down around us.
They are, yes, I know. The walls are crumbling around us. But as you've heard saying, you know, maybe I'm paraphrasing here. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. You all raised over $105,000 all week long for the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and that is absolutely something to smile about.
Over $1 million.
Over $1 million over the course of the last
That's
10
amazing.
years. It is an absolutely astounding accomplishment that everybody here should be incredibly proud of. I know I am.
Yeah.
And it's great what we do. And what do you say we do it again next year?
You know, I think I could be convinced.
That can be arranged.
We should probably figure something
That can be arranged. Excellent. Alrighty. Well, everyone, like I said, party's going to draw to a close, but we got one last order of business here before we do that. And of course, that's something we do every year. We find someone in the community and we give them a big old raid, and we give them a raid message, and we kind of keep the party going and keep the love from this week-long event going. And nobody better to do that than our favorite community member, Bob the Ninja Goldfish.
Oh. Well, quickly, before we did the raid, I committed to reading all the donation messages. I've got 5 more. $20 for King Enigma. Great people, great games, great cause, great time. Thank you all for making the world a better place. I appreciate you all, what we do. Take care, all the best. $200 from Jacob P. with no message. $25 from Anonymous. Says, thank you to everyone who's contributed, participated, and watched in this wonderful event. You are all beautiful souls. $5 from Caitlin Cassis. You got my last name right. Well done. Thank you for what you do. $25 from Alec K47. Thank you all, everyone, for making this event what it is. It still feels surreal that I'm part of such a wonderful event that we've been doing this for 10 years. Be good to each other, everyone, and please send good thoughts to High Spirits and Mizuki Bara. And I speak for all of us here when we miss you. I want to see you healthy, and not just next year in Denver, but in general. Spirit, wee! Oh yeah, we want the last shot we can of this crowd. we are heading off. One of our community members that couldn't be on site is Tiny Tim. He's one of our staff members, part of the content team. And he's actually off at UKSG right now. And they happen to be live. Well, they're doing a quick pre-recorded segment for their overnight, but they will be live very, very soon. So we're going to go raid UKSG, and I would love you all to put in a message of be excellent to each other. So I will leave you, as I always do, with the words of the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, by saying, guys, gals, non-binary pals, and all of those beyond that spectrum, please be excellent to each other. And party on, my friends! Let's go!